Hi guys, so further to the video I took earlier on the day, which was the US30. Just going to share the screen a minute. Obviously I called the trade for the sell. Okay, the video is in the chat area. It's within here on the members chat. I go over from start to finish on it playing out. From there, just take a look. I did look at an entry for a buy. That's playing out as well at the moment. So we've gone straight from a sell into a buy, and this was all based upon a high time frame fibs into lower time frame fibs. Okay, this entry is based upon the swing. Okay, it's based upon the swing of that 1 hour coming into the 71 area to play back up into the previous high, because we were looking at ideally for a continuation and movement up to the high side. But one other thing you can do, you can sort of get into your trades, because as we come up and you get your breaker structures, okay, you're looking for a retracement to come back down into the order block areas, if that makes sense. So what you could do, you go for another long position, play that around about there, have a bit underneath that low and target that area up there. So not only have we come out of a 1 to 3.55, which is completed, we're now in the midst of a 1.1 to 6.14. Then we're getting into another trade on the continuation trend of a 1 to 6. Now, if these play out and this holds structure on here, this is worth getting into simply because you've got a 3% or 3.5% into a 6. That's going to be just under 10% into another 6. That's nearly 16%. And again, what we're waiting for now is a breaker structure above that area. Okay, when you get the breaker structure above that area, you're then going to be waiting for the push up to break it to come back in into the order block here, so we just wait and see. So you've got one entry which is a 1, we've got a second entry which is live, and then you've got another entry here which you could enter in based upon this order block. So I'm just going to let this play out. I'm going to wait and see if the structure breaks today. I'm going to set myself an alarm to come back to. If we do, I'm going to set another structure play up based upon an order block on here to go up to this higher high on the higher time frame, because after all, this was on the 1 hour. Okay, so what I'm looking at is targets on the way up. We've got a low, a higher high, higher low. We've got the higher high. Okay, we've got the higher low here, which is what I was anticipating on the fib. If I just pull that out, and there I was looking at a target area to come back down to the 618 or the 785, I think it was, and then the entry was based upon a 5-minute lower time frame on this, which was, again, it was around about from here to here. 50%, looking for 50% where the stall is going to be to come back down to 786. Okay, 786 is the entry on here. So again, we're being tapped in. Okay, so now you've got the 3.5%, which is done. We've got the breaker structure. We've come up. We've touched into the area now for the next entry. This one was live, as you know, inside the group. And what I'll do, I'll wait for a further push to break structure here. So this here has been a BOS. We're waiting for that breaker structure above here to then possibly come in to play it into another order block. So we'll see how many of these we can catch on the way up. Hopefully, if this is going to be a continuation, we can get 2 or 3 on the way up to here. So that just basically means we've got one completed This is in the middle of being complete. It's nearly in the halfway point. You could take partials, to be honest, if it would come here, but we'll just see what happens on this. It just trade buy limit. I'll just set that up. We're going to take that up to here. Take this down to here. So we'll see if that taps in, and then I'll be back in a short while just to see if we can ride this back up to the TP area. Go back onto the share screen. So on here we can see we've broke the structure. We've created a new higher high from this area. It's come in. It's tapped in at the moment. Again, if this loses out, it's no loss. In all honesty, simply because we got the 1 to 3.55 earlier, as mentioned. This one's healthily in profit, which was a 1 to 6.14. It's coming back down. That is still in profit. However, this entry here has entered. We'll see if this holds its structure clear and then continues up. If we do get the continuation of clear and it breaks the structure up on here, we'll just look for the entry on the next order block up to create more profits. So I'll be back in a second. And so we've got the alarm going off now, and we're in good profit now. So we've got the 1 to 3.55 on the sell, which I called, excuse me, coming into the buy for the 1 to 6.14. We've got to break a structure on here, making a new higher high from the retracement back up on the buy, coming back into the order block, which give us another entry, giving us a further 1 to 6. So we could possibly call another trade in a moment. I'll just go down to 2 minutes. So then we there. Go for long. So I'll call out there. Put it to about here. Go back to 5 minutes. So that's a 1 to 8 now. It's going to be a tighter SL on that. And it's ended it on the previous one, so I don't know how that works. Either way, we'll see if this will hold structure or not. It's down here. I'll pause the video. We'll be back in a moment, because now what we're waiting for, because that has become a break of structure. Going to wait for it to play higher now. Want that to go higher up. See if we can get the continuation up. So I'll be back in a second. All right, so just retrace back on the steps that we've got. So we got this earlier on this afternoon, which is a 1 to 3.5 or just over, coming into the buy area, which is currently a 1 to 6 for the profit. Broke the structure here, made a new higher high, come back down in the order block into another entry, This is going to be a 1 to 6 as well. And now we've currently got one, which is broke the structure, made a higher high, waiting for the retracement back into the towards an order block area on a 2 minute. This is the 5 minute time frame though. Currently in 1,300 profit. If this is going to be a continuation, this is the likelihood it's going to bounce onto this to give us another entry for a 1 to 6. So if we just round it down at 6, 12, 18, and then plus a 3. So that's going to be, if it goes to full TP, it's going to be nearly a 21% profit overall, which is fantastic. I'll be back in a second to see if this hits the entry area. Guys, as you can see, obviously we called this one here. I called this one earlier on in the group of the Discord. We then got in on an entry on here, okay, retraced a little way back in. We've then got a break of structure through here. I'm anticipating a retracement back down to this area for another entry on a buy limit. So it's going to create a 1 to 3.53. This one we're already in at a 1 to 6. This one we're already also in on a 1 to 6. This one completed at a 1 to 3.55. At the moment, we've got a running total of profits of just over or just under 2K. Okay, so again, we're anticipating from this break of structure the push out. So I'm just going to put this up to here. We've had the push out of the break of structure. I'm going to class it on, we've got two areas here, but I'm going to class it on the retracement here of this little order block. It does go down to obviously the 2 minute. I'm covering the push that we've had here. So we've got the ABC maneuver back up. We are waiting for the swoop down to possibly come into the 32517. See if we can get a third entry on the way up. You can see we're now just over the 2K. So overall, you're looking at 6, 12, and then the 3.5, so 6, 12. So that's 15 plus this one here. That one's complete, nearly 18%. This is all depending on if we get the continuation of trend. The overall analysis and buys was based upon obviously the low, the high, the higher low, the higher high, coming into making this higher low from here. This first initial entry coming from the completed leg on the sell, okay, this entry area here was based upon this fibs from the higher low up to the higher high, this being the 7.71 area of a kill zone, okay. We got that entry to the pip, absolutely spot on. Then we got it created a sort of a retracement, and then we got the dip down. I was waiting for a continuation, as in this initial big leg that you had to see, to do a continuation up to try and head towards liquidity here. So we got a break of structure on the lower time frame, if that makes sense, and we're hitting entries on the way up, okay. And as we're doing that, we're just basically, we've come down from the 1 hour down to 15 minutes, down to 5 minutes. Now we're in that push phase on the buy. I'm going down to a 2 minute time frame, and I'm basing this on structure points where we're getting the push and then the retracement. On that retracement, we're just looking for the retrieval back to around about a Fibonacci area or an order block area to bump us into another sort of position, if that makes sense. Because overall, we are anticipating the overall on the 1 hour. Again, the overall on the 1 hour, what we were looking at is the A, B, C, okay. This retracement here was this entry on this, but then we've got multiple positions on the way back up to create the continuation buy phase, if that makes sense. We've just basically brought it down to the 5 minutes. And again, you can see where these are hitting in. And then to super refine it, I've even gone down to a 2 minute. It does look a hot mess when you're looking at it like this, but again, we're just waiting for that entry to come down to swoop into this to get another position. Again, if this comes down and it feels into this and it feels that, I would then possibly close out what I have going at the moment, because I am heavily in profit at the moment, okay? But we're just riding the crest. You're riding that wave and you're anticipating the directional bias being correct of this 1 hour. We're in the 2 minute at the moment, but the overall 1 hour drive down to create a 1 hour drive back up to come into the liquidity or just above here, okay, if that makes sense. So I'll continue to do this video until either we're going to get the full TP hit, or we come down and we crash through 2 of these, okay? If we crash through a couple of these, it just means we're getting good profit on this particular trade, which was a 1 to 3. And if we crash through the SL of this and then the SL of this one, we're still bagging quite a bit of profit, because the initial buy-in fears of this entry here would still be in profit, if that makes sense, okay? So I'll pause the video. We'll be back in a short while. So here's a moment of truth, guys. We've now got a 3rd entry, okay? We'll see if this structure holds or if it's gonna knock me out. This may be towards the end of the video. We'll soon find out. Let's just take a look. We'll see, we'll get a retracement out and back up and see we'll get the bounce. So we've got now 3 entries, 1, 2, 3 on the way up. We'll see if we can continue with the trend, which is going to be on the bias. The directional bias was on the move up on the 1 hour. Again, just to talk you through this, we were looking at the 1 hour, okay? Yeah, but you see the higher highs, higher lows, higher highs coming into the higher low area with the 71 fib, and then catching that and riding the buy up to the liquidity, up to the higher high to possibly push through that. Again, we don't know whether this is going to hold or continue. I drew down to the 5 minute and 2 minute areas and just riding the wave on its way up. We already smashed in a 1 to 3.55. This one was the 1 to just over 1 to 6. We got another 1 to 6 here, and then a 1 to 3.5. If I just go back down to the 5 minutes, we'll just see if this is going to hold, if it's going to push up. I just thought I would get in on it and obviously continue from where I got the sell earlier on, going straight into the buy based upon the fibs that I was looking at, which was giving me extra confidence to tell me it was possibly going to come down into this area to move back up. It's just once we come from a retracement from a higher high and then we hit the higher low, we don't know how long the next leg's going to be. Will it create a new higher high? Will it take the liquidity area? This is why we drill it down to like a 2 minute, a 5 minute or a 2 minute area. Wait for these breaker structures to do the continuation. If you get the breaker structure like here where it's taking liquidity, you wait for the fallen or the failing point for it to come back into an order block. And then you've got this one set, and you would need to wait for this to break its structure like it has here. It's come back down into its failing point. And we'll go to the 2 minutes. And again, I've chosen this area here simply because of this small sort of retracement, but I've factored in these ones here as well. So that's why this one, it's not going to be as tight, but it's still giving us a nice 1 to 3.55. And we're just waiting for it to come up to push above this liquidity area. Okay, so we need this to be grabbed. At the moment, we're smashing in the profits at the moment of just over 2K. We'll see if this gets taken out. If it gets taken out, then we'll wait for, again, a new high point up here, waiting for the feel of that high point to come back down into maybe this area here. I think this is on the 2 minutes still. It is on the 2 minutes. We'll see where we go with this, see if it continues. But yeah, we're just riding the crest, riding the wave, to be fair. And again, we are absolutely smashing it in today with regards to these entries and the TPs at the minute. So I'll be back in a short while. All right, guys, so I'm going to call it from there. Okay, I'm going to close out those trades there with that in profit. Smash that the day. Overall, I'm just going to let that play out, see if it plays out up to these areas, and that's it. Again, if it does play out, it means we've grabbed another 1 to 3.5, a further 1 to 6, and another 1 to 6, and a 1 to 3.55. We've got a few things to do. So again, today I've bagged a hell of a lot of profit on the paper trade demo account. With that being said, I will post the overall outcome to see if this has sort of pushed to these areas. This was just a short video to show you what I was looking at with regards to, excuse me, the 1 hour time frame from the sell. Okay, if you haven't seen the first video to this, it is in the Discord. So I showed you what I was looking at on the sell point, looking to get in on the buy on the retracement back up. I think I've done more than enough there to show you just how good the trading can be when it goes in the parameters of your bias. Okay, it's simple trading. There's been no indicators used on that other than pure price action and fib levels. Okay, sometimes we can just overcomplicate things with regards to trading with putting so many indicators on, you know. So hopefully you've seen some value in this, and I will post the outcome of where it's gone to at the end of this trade, whether it's gone up to these areas or if it just cancels off. If it does, price does come back down to sort of hit these 2 SL areas, then I would have just closed out anyway, because we've got the profit here and then more than enough profit on here. Okay, guys. So I'll see you in a later video.